It is indeed a blustery April 23rd, 2011. Calvin Castine, Gordy Little, Hometown Cable at the Crate Center near the Plattsburgh City Beach. We woke up to wind and rain and snow. I'll tell you, it was really sleet. But the mail must always get through, and the veterans too. This is a very special day, and we wouldn't have missed it for the world. Plattsburgh Military Appreciation Day 2011 at the Crate Center. The American Military Retirees Association, Champlain Chapter, Clinton County Veteran Services Agency, Fort Drum Retirees Council, all inviting veterans down here to the Crate Center today. We talk about the veterans, but not nearly as much. And I didn't dare to complain as I held my hat walking in from the parking lot this morning, because we know so many men and women who have gone through far worse than a little blustery wind in preserving attempts to preserve the freedom of our wonderful nation. So today is a good day to talk about them, to talk to military retirees, to talk about scholarships and insurance policies and just about everything else. You can see that the Crate Center is pretty well filled with various organizations that are here for the service of North Country veterans. We know so many of the people personally, and some people we're going to meet for the very first time. We'll be talking with Kathy Baumgarten, who is the president of the association and wears just about every hat this association has. Steve Bowman from the Clinton County Veterans Organization will also be here. We'll have opening ceremonies. We're recording this at 9 o'clock in the morning. Opening ceremonies will be scheduled for way down there at about 9:15. And before we finish today, I'm sure you will have a much greater appreciation of what veterans mean to this country and especially to the North Country. Stay tuned.
David Cook is here.
All right, Kathy Baumgarten, how are you?
I'm wonderful.
I'm just doing great in spite of the crazy
It's
weather.
too windy. We should have had this, yesterday's weather today would have been a lot better. But
I know you work hard all year round with your group, but today is very special for you.
It is. We started out wanting to hold a Retiree Appreciation Day for the military retirees that live and retired in this area when the base closed. Nobody's really servicing them. They have retiree activity days in Fort Drum, but a lot of people don't go that far for that kind of thing. Most of the military retirees in this area actually go over to Vermont, to the Air National Guard base or Camp Johnson to get military ID cards or wills or whatever. And so we thought we might try and do that, which would have been a more modest affair. And then I told the Clinton County Veteran Service Officer Steve Bowman about this at a council, the Joint Veterans Council meeting we have quarterly. And he said, you ought to invite all veterans and survivors and active duty and Guard and Reserve, and then we can make it really big. And I said, wow, that's a really great idea. So from there, it grew into this. I travel with the American Military Retirees Association and go to events like this. So as an exhibitor, I know how I like it laid out, for my convenience and for the visitors. So American Military Retirees Association paid for the venue for today. And Steve Bowman's office has paid for the pipe and drape so we can have a private briefing room.
Oh, wonderful idea,
and
sure.
We've got over 60 federal, state, county, and local agencies and organizations that are here, and information from many more. We've got the Canadian Legion is here. We've got
kidding. Wonderful.
Yeah, Fred Gilman, and we've got a little bit of information for veterans from Vermont. So we were trying to get buy-in from all the areas locally. So we're hoping we get a really good turnout today. Just add veterans. That's all we need today.
You've had a long association with the military. Tell us how it all began.
Well, I graduated high school in 1975, and we couldn't afford any college. So I went, my sister had gone into the Air Force, and I said, oh, maybe if I go join her, we could be stationed together.
Yeah.
And when she was in Montana, I was in Texas, and when I went to California, she went to New Hampshire, and then I went to England, and she went to, I don't know. But anyway, We did visit with one another. And when I was there, I went to Texas and California, and at Vandenberg Air Force Base, I met another New Yorker my first day on station, who I ended up marrying. And I stayed in a couple years after that, and then we got out and started a family, and then we traveled to England for 4 years. I had added another family member, and then we came back here to Plattsburgh, New York. Wanted to be back home and retire here, and so here I am.
Never really dreaming that the base would close in 1995.
No,
I almost
absolutely.
brought my white hat. Plattsburgh Air Force Base, we're number one.
Yeah, well, the base we were at in England closed right after we left too. I mean, they basically plowed it
Is it something
over.
you did?
I don't know. I'm taking it a little personally. But in 1994, after my husband retired, he said, why don't you go in the Air National Guard and finish your 20 years and you'll have your own retirement, because a lot of mothers don't have their own retirement. My family was old enough. They could take me being away for a little bit, you know. So I did that, and I retired 2 years ago. And I got, for 9/11, I was activated for 8 months. I was going over to Vermont every day.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, 6 days a week.
Oh my.
And then when the invasion happened over in Iraq, I was over in Kuwait for 4 months. So for being a weekend warrior, I had kind of a
You and lots of other people,
combat
yeah.
zone. I was really blessed though, because I got an assignment as running the base library, which, believe it or not, in the desert is a really popular place because we had air conditioning.
that counts.
The Marine Corps, Semper Fi, the Marine Corps guys were wonderful. They came in there, I took care of them, they took care of me, and just had a good, if you can have a good experience in the desert, that was probably what I had, And so I've been everything. I've been a spouse, I've been active duty, I've been a guard, now I'm a retiree, and I'm a gray area retiree, which means I can't collect my pension until I'm 60. So anyway, that's a little about me.
You do a lot of other things now too, besides the military
I do.
association.
Well, when I was working in the library in Kuwait, just to relieve the tension, I started writing a little newsletter about what was going on around the base, little things, and sending it home, and everybody loved it. It was funny, and I started writing. And when I came back, I had a lot of readjustment problems, and that's when I started writing. And so that's where you, probably in the Lake Champlain Weekly, you may have seen my column. I've been writing Jabberwocky. And Jabberwocky comes from the base I was at, Ahmad El Jabber in Kuwait. So, and also Lewis Carroll wrote a poem called Jabberwocky.
Of course he did.
That's a little bit about me.
That's how old I am. but you enjoy what you do, and
I do.
you maintain this very close attachment to the military.
I do. Yeah, well, I work at the American Military Retirees Association, and we have a chapter here in Plattsburgh. And if you're a military retiree or gray area retiree, 100% disabled from the VA, or if you're going to be retiring really soon and you have your 20-year letter already, you can join us. Nobody's really advocating for military retirees or the gray area veterans up in this area now that the base isn't here. There's a lot of information for veterans available, but it's really important for the retirees to know what their benefits are.
I look forward to coming out here and seeing you and all the other guys and gals that I've known for so many years. It's so important to remember our veterans, so absolutely important. And, that phrase, lest we forget, and sometimes we do, unfortunately. It's a busy world.
Yeah. Well, the Department of Defense is changing a lot of things, too. They're looking at cutting a lot of things. The Saratoga National Cemetery, our nearest veterans cemetery, they were going to come today and share benefits. They lost their funding just to drive up from Saratoga Springs today.
Think about it.
Yeah,
Think about it.
Yeah. But we do have information here for veterans on their cemetery benefits. So we've tried to provide everything. We've got the base legal office from Fort Drum is here to do wills, power of attorneys, and healthcare proxies for military retirees. We've got TRICARE here, commissary. We've got all the veterans organizations are here, and the local colleges.
Some veterans just don't stay in the loop. today will be a good day for everybody to get an education, including Calvin and myself.
Yeah, I think a lot of veterans are kind of, they're kind of ambiguous about their own service. They weren't a big enough hero, or they don't feel they did anything great, or maybe they didn't leave under the best terms. And I was telling a veteran about this last week, and they said, "Well, I don't need a handout." And I go, "That's you were a federal employee, and you're entitled to certain benefits." And the way the DoD and Congress work, they put money in pots for certain programs, and they can't use it for anything else. So if the veterans that are entitled to prosthetics or whatever it might be, if they don't use that money, it sits there, nobody can touch it. And there are a lot of VA programs that they're funded, they're fully funded, the money's been allocated, nobody else can use it. If you don't come on down today and find out what that is, you might not, it could be money in your pocket, it could help your family too. And it's very important for survivors to come here today and family members, so they can know how to help their veteran family member and what's available to help care for them in their later years.
We're doing this just after 9 o'clock in the morning, and you're planning a little opening ceremony in a few minutes.
We are in a few minutes. Yeah, we've got we've got color guard from quite a few different groups here. It's going to be great. Ron Wood's going to be singing the national anthem for us, and it's going to be happening center stage really soon. And we're asking all the veterans to come. We have a program for them and a registration at the front table. We're going to do a little demographic study here, see what we've got. There's something here for every veteran. Every veteran can come and learn something today.
Even though this event goes from 9 until 4 in the afternoon, it doesn't mean at 4 o'clock today the door closes for veterans in the North Country.
No, absolutely not. There's a lot of information out there. So many groups, and there's a lot of information you can take here, websites and whatever, and go.
Kathy, I'll do it again before the day is finished, but I want to thank you personally for all of your dedication and hard work on behalf of the veterans here in the North Country.
I guess I'm a little OCD, but I hope that you'll come down here and validate all the work we did for veterans today. Even if you're a family member of a veteran, if the veteran doesn't want to come out, you come on out and you grab some information for your veteran and educate yourself so that you can know what's available out there.
Maybe this will be the first annual.
It might be. We don't know how many people to expect. We could get 100, we could get 1,000. We hope we get more, and then it may turn into an annual event.
Come on, weatherman, we need some sunshine.
Well, if it would be being windy, it would be better.
Kathy, thanks a lot. We'll talk to you again before we leave today.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Retirees Association. I want to welcome you all here today. Plattsburgh has always loved the military, and so it's wonderful to see so many of you gathered. The American Military Retirees wants to thank you for your service, and I'm going to turn it over now to Steve Bolt.
This is Peg Bergeron from Margaret Bell Rose.
Before we ask for the flags to be brought in, I'd like to introduce the team of people that put this event together. I'd like to introduce Kathy Baumgarten from AMRA, American Military Retirees, Bill Murphy from the Fort Drum Retiree Activity Council, and I'm Steve Bowman. I'm the director of the Clinton County Veterans Office. So can we please clear the center aisle, and I'm calling for the color guards to please advance your color. I'd ask Ron Wood to come up and he will lead us in Star Spangled Banner. You'll also lead us in the pledge, right?
There's been a slight change. I've decided today to do God Bless America, and I want all of you to sing with me. I'm going to do something entirely different also. I'm going to share the verse with you. When the storm clouds gather all across the sea, let us swear allegiance to a land that's free. Let us all be grateful for a land so fair, as we raise our voices in a solemn prayer. God bless America, land that I love. Stand beside her and guide her through the night with a light from above. From the mountains to the prairies, to the ocean, white with foam. God bless America, my home, sweet home. God bless America, my home, sweet home. And now I invite you to share with me as we pledge allegiance to our flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Ron. And I'll ask for the mayor. He has a proclamation for us today to read. Mayor Don Kasperzak.
Thank you, Steve. Before I do this in my official capacity, I would like to tell you all how honored and privileged I am to be here with all of you today. I do many events, and I think many people here will tell you that these are the ones I truly enjoy and I'm proud to be part of. I can't thank all of you here as much as I would like to about what you have given our country. You've given Plattsburgh, and I want to thank you personally for what you've done for all of us. And now I will read my proclamation. Whereas the city of Plattsburgh and its surrounding areas have been home to a continuous military presence since the War of 1812, and whereas many military personnel have made Plattsburgh and the North Country their permanent home, whereas the veterans and military retirees of this area have been underserved by federal programs specific to their needs, and whereas we, the people of Plattsburgh, do truly appreciate the sacrifices of all who have served this nation in her time of need. Now, therefore, I, Donald M. Kasperzak, Mayor of the City of Plattsburgh, do hereby proclaim April 23rd, 2011 as Military Appreciation Day in the City of Plattsburgh. Thank you all very much. God bless you, and I'm very proud of you.
Very nice proclamation, and I want to thank the mayor and the city of Plattsburgh for their support in this event. I also want to bring, before we talk a little bit about housekeeping issues, we have one of our members here is somebody that we really need to know about a little bit. We have a World War II POW that is here with us on the floor today. And I'd like to bring him forward if we can, just so everybody knows who he is. And this is Robert Booth, a resident of the city of Plattsburgh here, and kind of an important person for all of us. He's a former POW, and you get a chance, just say hi to him today as he's walking around the floor. Now, if everybody's kind of looking around and seeing what's going on, I want to let you know that there's a snack bar behind the bleachers over here. There's restrooms on both sides of the facility behind the bleachers. There are some of the tables that have coffee. There's also coffee and stuff at the snack bar. And we will start doing individual briefings back in that corner out in the foyer at 9:30. There is a schedule out in the foyer that talks about it, and your program has a schedule as well. The Fort Drum legal office is out in the office on the other side of the foyer. If anybody needs to go work with them or has any questions about legal issues, they should be able to help you as well. I hope you enjoy your day, and I hope you can find the information that you're looking for here. And there are agencies from not only Clinton County and Plattsburgh, but from around the entire North Country that is here to help you gain information on what your benefits are. So I hope this is a nice day for you and you'll get what you're looking for. Thank you.
Well, we move back to a little corner here with Peg Bergeron. How are you?
I'm fine. How are you?
North Country girl.
Yes, born, raised in Champlain, New York.
St. Mary's.
St. Mary's Academy.
Go out in the world and seek your fortune.
Exactly.
And like a magnet, it drew you back home.
Exactly, yes. Well, who knew there was a military association with national headquarters in Plattsburgh?
Isn't that amazing?
Yes, I was quite surprised.
And now here you are as executive director.
Yes.
This is a good group. You were also national chairman for the veteran.
National Secretary Treasurer for the VFW Auxiliary in Kansas City. Ran their headquarters there for
Did you really?
a few years.
So you have a vested interest in this whole military.
Oh, absolutely, yes. Well, you know, I've been a VFW Auxiliary member since 1971. And formed that chapter in Champlain, organized it, served as their president. I'm still their treasurer after all these years.
Are you really?
Yes, you know, everything comes full circle. So.
Why is it so important that we have an organization like this, Peg?
Well, the American Military Retirees Association focuses on the needs of military retirees, which are often different. All military retirees are veterans, but not all veterans are retirees. So we have a good time in Washington every year trying to explain that to senators and congressmen there, because a lot of times they will write legislation for veterans, and then the needs of retirees, which are often a little bit different, get left out. Then they have to go back, you know, after we tell them, oh, you left the retirees out, they have to go back and, fix the law. So we try to get them before they write the law. And if there ever was a time for military retirees to band together and to talk to their congressmen and senators about their benefits, this is it. Because they're looking at, making changes, increases in TRICARE, even the entire military retirement system itself is under scrutiny right now and could well be changed unless we, stop some of the things that are going on.
So many things are happening right now, and very often, as we mentioned earlier in the show, veterans just aren't aware.
Exactly.
And Congress isn't aware, and the veterans aren't aware. We need to get on. We need to get on a soapbox today.
Exactly. For example, we were just talking about gray area retirees,
right,
and joking about how it's not the color of your hair that that determines that. But gray area retirees are those who retire from the Guard and Reserve and then can't collect their retirement until they're age 60. But in the meantime, they have lots of benefits that they're entitled to. And, we have people come to the table and ask us, well, what's a gray area retiree? And then they go, oh my gosh, I'm one. So
Yes.
We have specific information here for gray area retirees. We have all kinds of information about, DFAS, which is the accounting service, about Deers. You have to go and sign up at Deers so that they have your address and all of your information. Information about the VA is here today, so we didn't bring too much information about VA, but
You're there 365 days a year. You're here today, and as most people are aware, I'm sure this program is broadcast long after the event. So we're here on April 23rd. We hope the weather gets better by the time this program is on television and on the internet. So people who were stationed at Plattsburgh Air Force Base, who would like to know more about this area, can watch this on the internet at Plattsburgh.com and HometownCableNetwork.com, as well as on the local cable services. But how do people get in touch with you if they need information outside of this venue today?
Well, we have a toll-free number, 800-424-2969. We also have a very well-done website, www.amra1973.org.
That's easy.
1973 is the year we were formed in Saranac Lake.
No kidding.
Yes.
In Saranac Lake.
Yes. Started very, very small. So this is our 38th year, and we are suddenly, experiencing an explosion in growth. So this, I believe, is because veterans are, and retirees specifically, are coming around to the fact that, they need to stand up for their rights, and they need to, they've done enough fighting, but here comes another one.
Yeah, here comes another one. We don't know what's going to be there when we get up tomorrow morning.
Exactly, right.
I've lived through quite a few of these conflicts at various places in the world, including several major wars, and all I do is wake up in the morning and turn the news on and go like this.
Yeah, I know.
But what a great opportunity it is to salute these people.
Oh, absolutely. They deserve our respect. Military veterans are on call 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year when they're in the military, and then they're subject to recall after they retire if the need arises for their particular skill, or so
that's happened a little bit recently.
Yes,
hasn't
it has.
it?
Yes, it has. Absolutely.
Does this occupy almost all your time now?
Just about. Well, yeah. I still belong to my auxiliary in Champlain, and I serve as their treasurer. But I find myself having a hard time going to my department meetings and to my district meetings, because this consumes. Right now, this is my job and this is my passion anyway. So it's always wonderful when you can, find a position that fulfills the need that you have to.
If we have not accomplished anything else by this broadcast, I hope we've educated our viewers who are never in the military to have a greater appreciation for those who are or were. But more than that, for the people who served, to know that there are all these resources available.
Absolutely.
And as we said before, a lot of these guys and gals say, I don't need a handout. Well, guess what?
You earned it.
Boy, you said a mouthful, Peg. You earned it. Find out more about it.
Yes.
How many different groups are here today? Quite a few, actually.
I think close to 50.
Isn't that wonderful?
Everybody from the and I do want to mention this in case anyone in the area is not here today, but the commissary people are here, and they have order forms. They're having a case lot sale. They cannot bring the food here because it has to be done on federal property. So they've compromised. They have an order form. You can pick one up, check it off, mail it back to them, and they will come back to Plattsburgh on July 30th and 31st to deliver everything.
Isn't that great? I bet you a lot of people didn't know that.
Yeah.
Now.
Yeah. I hope people take advantage of it. That's a great opportunity. And the nice thing is, if we support this, if the area supports this case lot thing, they'll do it more frequently. So.
I love it. Well, we're telling them right now.
Help ourselves.
We are. Peg, thanks so much for all your hard work.
Well,
Have a great day today.
Thank you for your service.
Good to see you. Thanks, Peg.
Bye.
Donnie Kasperzak, Mayor of the City of Plattsburgh,
Gordy,
How are
you?
ya?
I'm fine. I've missed you. I haven't seen you in a while.
Well, you know
You
what?
and Calvin are all over, but I
try
miss you
to
once in a
stay
while.
inside on a day like today.
Yes. Oh, it's,
But you
yeah.
know what? This important event drew me out, and lots of other people. We hope this is important.
Gordy, you've known me for many years, and so has Calvin, and I'm invited regularly to so many events. And I won't tell you which ones, but there are ones that sometimes I would rather not attend. This one and ones that are associated with our veterans military folks it's just something so special. I will always make time. I should, but I do it because I want to and because they're so special.
You know, it's a funny thing in your remarks, and it's not funny, but a lot of people outside this area have no idea how connected we are with the military since the beginning of time. I talked a lot when I was on the radio about this being such an old, active military installation. We had events of the Revolutionary War held right in this area. Certainly the Battle of Plattsburgh and other connected events, and many things since that time. So, yes, we do have lots and lots of military history here, lots of memories, and we ought to preserve the memories and appreciation for the veterans who are still with us, and that's what this day is about.
This day is a special day, and I can't say it any better than you did. The bottom line here is, as we all know, it's the people. And we have our wonderful history. We also have retirees here. We have folks that have served our country for so many years and defended our freedoms. And I'm not saying this as mayor, I'm saying it as a resident here since 1956 growing up. I wouldn't have what I have today without the wonderful folks in the North Country that defended and fought for all of us. And I am very pleased, I'm honored, and I'm privileged as mayor to be here today to say those things.
You know, as you were just talking, of course, my mind wanders a lot. And I was wandering back to the days when this building was conceived.
Yes.
A long time ago. A lot of controversy in the beginning.
Oh, boy.
A lot of ups and downs since that time. Its location is classic, right on a beautiful Lake Champlain, one of the most beautiful and biggest freshwater beaches in the world.
No doubt.
And here we are, not quite certain about what the place is going to become. Have you got any plans for we're doing this on April 23rd, 2011.
Yes.
Is there any special future plan for the Crate Center that you can reveal to us today?
Well, I would always tell you the truth, which I always do, and the fact is that I've been approached by certain developers, a couple from Vermont, one from our area, for some ideas about the Crate Center, but I really haven't talked about it too much because the economy is not overly strong right now as we speak today. And when we make a decision for the Crate Center in this area, the beach in particular, I want to make sure it's one that's lasting and very, very important long term. I mean, it's easy to make quick decisions and get some headlines, but I've never done that, as you know. When I make my decisions with the help of the council and good folks like yourself, it'll be the right ones long term, so when I'm no longer here, people can't, or hopefully they won't criticize me too much about these decisions.
Never a week goes by that I don't receive a question from somebody saying, do you remember, and then they start talking about Scamotion Creek and the settlement there.
Yeah.
The development of this entire area, everything from the original city dump to the city beach and the state beach and the campsites. It is a prime area, and we all would dearly love to see something happen here.
I know you're going to reflect on this in a moment, but I recall, and I had this discussion the other day as well, with people mentioning about the dump. Also, when the bus was free to bring us all here, and that's a long time ago.
Yeah.
But and then the Canadians were still on the off ramp waiting as 3 cars went in and 3 would.
Sure.
I remember that. I know that, and I don't know if we'll ever achieve that again. But I can tell you this: we're going to try to get us back to some of those glory days. But when we make those decisions, they're going to be the right ones for everybody.
In the meantime, it's a wonderful venue for something like this today. Nice to have this space available for all these dozens of organizations that are willing to help the veterans.
There is nothing more special than our veterans and our military personnel and their families, which not many times people think about. They make sacrifices, and as long as I'm mayor, I hope that this event will continue to return here, and I will see both of you in the future.
Johnny, thanks a lot.
Thank you very much.
Have a great
appreciate
day,
it.
will you?
God bless you and everyone and your family.
Right back to you.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, Calvin.
Bob St. John. How are you, my man?
I'm doing well, Gordy. Yourself?
I'm doing extremely well for an old
good.
guy. You and I go back a few years.
Quite a few.
How the heck did you ever end up in the police department as chief up there?
Well, just decided one day to take the test, and
Is that how it worked?
took the test.
With
and
your
that,
staff
and-
of 75 police officers?
Oh yeah, right.
3 cruisers?
More like 7 part-time officers and 2 cruisers.
You could write a book just on your experience at
Oh,
that single job, though,
Yes.
right?
Yeah.
People have no idea.
No.
Now, are you still commander of your post up there?
Yes.
That's
Yep.
post
912.
912,
Right.
Rouse's Point.
Ross Point, Montgomery Post 912. Yes.
You're really interested in military history.
Yes, all history, but military history, especially Civil War, and also for all our vets that in the post or from Ross's Point or the town of Champlain. So
We just had, I was just talking with Calvin off the camera a minute ago. We spent a little time with John Southwick in the library up there, just sitting there reading through that bunch of letters.
letters, yes.
And I'm deeply moved by things like that because it's almost a first-hand report from a young guy from that area.
Right there on the line.
Every day or every week writing letters right up until the day he was shot and then the day he died, with commanding officers and chaplain and different people writing letters.
Right.
That's powerful stuff.
It is.
Is that why you're involved? Because there's so many guys from up there.
Yeah, there's so many stories to be told, and that's what we're trying to do is whether we do it in book form, where we have the books available for veterans' families coming in to find out what their story was, where they fought, what battles they were involved in, what medals they received, or whatever. From the time that in the military to even when they've passed away, unfortunately, to where we keep a record of where they might be buried or whatever, so that way the families can find out in future years.
Up until the past year or so, it was difficult. You had to do some digging to get information. You had to know where to go, who to talk to, who to beg, and who to make the check out to get some of this information. Now, in the last few months, a lot of this Civil War information is coming up on the internet for free, and that makes the job for people like you a lot better.
A lot better. I've dealt a lot with the website, New York State Military and Naval Affairs, and they've got a comprehensive list of Civil War vets, whether it's infantry, cavalry, artillery, engineers, whatever. It's just unbelievable what they have on that website.
Well, people don't stop to think, but they will now, because there'll be a lot of television shows and newspaper stories about it, because we are at the 150th anniversary of that cotton-picking war.
Yes, we are.
And people here in the North Country, some people, not all people, but some people, have no idea that we had such a major involvement with people up here.
With the amount of New Yorkers that were called up, that responded to Lincoln's call to go down. It was just unbelievable.
You know where it first came to mind for me, in a big way, is when I first saw that Civil War memorial statue up in Saranac in the cemetery, and I realized that so many people from Saranac were involved.
Yes.
Then I started looking at some of the other towns, like Champlain, Rouse's Point, Moores. Wow.
Right, a lot of them. We have, in the research that I have done, we've got 315 from the town of Champlain.
You gotta be kidding.
No, 315 that are listed that recruited and enlisted to fight for New York in the Civil War.
And the fact is that many of their descendants are still around.
Yes, yep.
You see the same names.
Oh yes. Family names are still there and prevalent in the area.
Well, how come you took on this joy or this passion or this responsibility?
I just felt that it needed to be done, that for the future, for our children and their children, to not forget what this country has evolved in, and because of soldiers that are there to help preserve what we have.
That's why we're here today too.
Yes, it is.
Right?
Really, it's a nice event for for veterans in the area. They need to avail themselves of something like this because there's a lot. I even have questions, and so to get them answered, this is the type of event that you need.
Isn't it nice to have individual consultations, to have just about everybody involved with veterans here today, so that you shouldn't go out of here with a question left in your mind.
Right. If you do with everybody that's here, if you still leave with a question, it's because you didn't go to that booth and talk with those individuals.
Bobby, we can't wait to see what else you've uncovered. Have you found more letters?
No, I haven't found any letters myself, but I'm hoping that, with maybe some of the families or whatever, that will know that there's somebody that has an interest in it and will come forward.
In attics,
attics,
in cubby holes,
that's right,
and dresser drawers, down cellar.
Find it,
there's memorabilia out there.
Oh, yes.
We watched the Antiques Roadshow, and we watched the pawn shop guys in Vegas, and we know that there's a great interest in Civil War memorabilia now. For the sesquicentennial, there'll be even more. So if anybody has some stuff, I'm sure they can call you.
Oh yes, they can call us at the post, which our number is 297-2600. And they can call the post and just get a hold of me, and I'll get a hold of them. We don't need originals. Copies are fine if anything that we can gather.
Let us know what you find, will you?
All right, will do.
I'm excited, Bobby. Good to see you.
Yeah, good to see you,
Have
Gordy.
A great day, my
you
friend.
too. Take care.
23rd of April, 2011, at the Crate Center for the Appreciation Day for Veterans. Sam Trombley, how are you, my friend?
Just fine. Thanks, Gordy. My goodness.
I called him
Calvin.
I called him Sam the Man. He said that's what Stafford called me
for years. That's right.
But at least we're not here to talk about floods in Ellenburg right now.
Oh my goodness. Let's hope not. Gee, I don't know where all that moisture is coming from. It just doesn't quit.
I couldn't believe it when I looked out this morning on the 23rd of April and saw big snowflakes, and then the rain beating on the side of the house, and winds at 30 miles an hour.
Yeah, that's what it's doing in Ellenburg also.
And I said to one of my kids, this has got to be the craziest April I've ever seen. He said, I remember when we had 4 feet of snow, and we've seen a few snowstorms in the past.
Oh yes.
So this is important today.
Oh my goodness. How nice of an idea this is. Steve Bowman put a lot of work into this, and it's very well organized. And of course, I chair the Veterans Committee, so I felt that I had better be here to support them, and hopefully it can be an annual thing now.
Well, Steve's a real treasure, isn't he?
Oh my goodness.
Veterans?
Yeah, he's a digger. He even found $18,000 for one of my veterans that never knew he was eligible for.
Come on.
Yeah, and it came at a time when he was being hospitalized and came in at the right time,
See that?
And, so
that's what the organization
that's just
is there for,
And today that's what they're doing, is offering all those good grants that's out there.
The Military Retirees Association sponsoring this event. I've seen veterans here, some wonderful friends, old Charlie from the 10th Mountain Division, the Second World War, and Mr. Booth over there.
I'm just talking with Mr. Booth. He tells me he's got a short book, and I'd like to look that book up. I bet he's got some good stories in there.
Oh my!
Yeah.
I love it. And Dr. DeGrampre, remember?
Dr. DeGrampre, yes.
Wrote several books, and his memory
he did.
With him up to the minute he died. Isn't it great?
Yeah, I know Dr. DeGrampre, but I didn't know he wrote books.
He did. He's the best.
Yeah.
Sammy, you're the best too.
Well, thanks so much. My time's getting short. With the term limits.
It's awful to be a short timer. That snuck up on you, didn't it?
Yes, the term limits.
Snuck up on all of us.
Yeah, and Keith Defiant and myself. And
we knew that Sam Trombley would be elected until he was 117 years old, if that hadn't happened.
Yeah, my goodness.
Because you've worked hard.
Well,
you believe in the people, you believe in your area. What else can you say about somebody who serves on the Clinton County Legislature,
Yeah, well, I guess you said it all so well. Of course, I experienced everything, and, I started with nothing, and I guess probably that was probably the best education I got. And,
there a lot of people I know care about this North Country, and Calvin and I spend a lot of time talking about what a wonderful place it is to live and work. That's why I love to come to a place like this with veterans and look at these people who gave so much for you and me.
Yep.
great.
And they get very little recognition in return.
Well, it's a good day to do that.
Oh my goodness, that's what I'm trying to do.
I love it, Sammy. It's wonderful to talk to you.
Yeah, always good.
You're a good friend, Sam the man.
Thank you.
Have a great day.
Yeah, thanks so much.
See you later.
The doors are always open. We always have coffee on.
You got it, baby.
Yeah, okay. Thanks now. We'll catch.
Bob Booth, we saw you near the podium when the ceremonies began this morning. It's always great to see you.
It's great to be on 2 feet and to be here.
And your wonderful wife, been involved with the history of the North Country for such a long time. We still have people who comment on the shows that you and I did together right by your dining room table.
Well, that's very interesting. That was a wonderful performance that
it was a lot of fun.
Yeah, we had a lot of fun.
There aren't very many people who've been through what you've been through who kept such careful and copious notes.
That's called networking. That's called networking. You keep in touch with a lot of people and they provide information and you can work with that in addition to what you've got and verify how true it is you're speaking, because sometimes your memory gets a little bit expensive.
Mine does, much worse than yours will ever be.
Yeah.
But those were historical times you lived through.
That's a fact.
And served through, and so it's important to commemorate those moments by writing them down as you have, and by talking with them about them on Hometown Cable here.
Right.
You've had a good life looking back on it, haven't you?
Well, a successful one, yeah. I'm still here.
Well, that's the best part of it.
That's the best part, yeah.
Yeah.
And
you know, every time I look down there at the Champlain Monument in Plattsburgh and think of the booths being there when the thing was first dedicated.
Yeah. My grandfather Booth, I have paperwork that tells about how he was involved with that, because the commissioners that were charged with putting these monuments together in Crown Point and Plattsburgh were political appointments, no doubt about it. He was the political appointee who was honored, but he lived 100 yards away from the event.
I know he did.
So they handed him the wet baby, so to speak. Anytime there was trouble, he had to leave his breakfast table and come down and straighten it out. He really earned that honorary appointment that he had. I don't think he got any pay, but he certainly got a king-size share of headaches. And it was amazing. I wasn't there. I didn't have any idea.
No, you weren't there? That's the first time you'd ever admit that you weren't at a special booth occasion. But you've been at so many. That the last one we did there for the quadricentennial, that was a nice day, wasn't it?
It worked out very well, yes.
Good day for everybody. We talk to Celine Paquette quite often, and you know what a fan she is of Sammy Boy coming down that lake and all the things he did.
Yeah.
So, is this day important for veterans?
Certainly is. I've met many of them that I never saw before that are getting a lot of additional information that they never thought about, probably. I think that it'll be a great benefit to them. It's also very interesting to see all these different military organizations that are represented here.
Isn't it nice to know that they are here?
Yes. Because my part of it is getting obsolete. And all these other folks are coming up from different organizations and experiences that cover 60 years behind me.
Isn't that wonderful?
Yes.
I just heard Steve Bowman call for all World War II veterans. I don't know how many are here, but I know you and Charlie are here, and I don't know how many others. Are there many more here today?
I haven't any idea. Don't know one when I see one.
Well, but you'll meet a couple. Go on over there, Bobby. Thanks so much.
Okay.
Have a great day, and
My pleasure.
Thanks for your service.
Well, I appreciate yours.
Ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to pass the mic around so each of these.
We're going to find out what their names are.
And
6 World War II vets are here.
Fred Gilman. I was in the Royal Canadian Air Force, and I joined the American Army Air Corps in London, England, as a fighter pilot on the P-47.
Oh boy, how about that, huh?
Charles Smith, and I'm on the Fifth Mountain Division for Mount Waterloo.
Rodney Wright, 8th Division. I'm the Battle of the Bulge, 1944-45, fought in the Ardennes.
Carl Hull, Navy, Seabees, 44 to 46 in the Marylands and continuing on.
I'm Bill Stahl. I'm from Peru. I was in the Navy, and I was down in the Pacific, in the Philippines, Okinawa.
I think we all owe all of these World War II veterans. We have another one here. Come on in, sir.
Thank you.
And where did you serve in World War II?
I was flight engineer, lieutenant of Sea Gun, by fortune to be 17. Where's CSU Rescue Squadron, South Carolina, the United States.
Okay. Why don't you have a seat here?
Steve.
I'm Steve.
Isn't that amazing? We got 7 World War II veterans here. I never dreamed that they would have had 7 today, because tragically we're losing these people at the rate of 1,000, 1,100 a day.
The veterans that we have here, we owe them a nice, good, generous round of applause. And if anybody wants to get pictures, now's the time to do it.
Where's Brokaw when we need him? The greatest generation, and Brokaw's, he's working pretty hard these days. He and Jane Pauley came back to do a little bit on the 60th anniversary of the Today Show, but his books have spotlighted this generation, and here they are, the best of the best.
Another one, Rainy Rabideau.
Oh, there's Rainy. He's probably getting the Hamburg during the first report. Oh, hey, we got 8.
I was in Japan back in 1945 or 46.
Okay, thank you. As we all know, our World War II veterans are passing away at a rate of about 1,100 veterans a day, and the ranks are thinning out very quickly. But again, I want to thank you all for your service and for helping this country become a country that it has. And thank you for being here today.
That's great, and that's what it's all about, folks. Steve Bowman, I can't tell you how impressed I am when I see 8 of the greatest generation sitting in chairs that you just introduced.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, that's nice to see our veterans from World War II that are here and able today to come out. It's nice to see them, to get them together in a group like that and introduce them.
It's just,
that's a big important part of our history as a country.
I just mentioned before you did that we're losing over 1,100 of these men and women every day, so we better take our hats off when we get a chance.
Yes, you're exactly right. You know, they're a very important part of how this country evolved, and I think we do owe them a lot.
Steve, I just want to take a couple of minutes for people who may have just be seeing you for the first time, even though you've been a fixture around here for many, many years. How did you get, tell me a little bit about your military history.
I'm an Air Force retiree. I went in the service in '76 right out of high school, and I retired after 18 and a half years in the Air Force, and I married a girl from here local, from Shazy, and when we retired we moved back here to the North Country, and I'm originally from Iowa, but you know, your military career takes you all over the world, and it brought me to this area, and I love it up here.
With all those tornadoes down there lately, you better be glad you're in the
You're exactly right. You're exactly right.
Oh, I can't believe those poor people. They got hammered again last night.
I know.
Oh, my goodness. So how did you get involved with veteran services here in the county?
Well, I knew Warren Manor through the American Legion.
Didn't everybody?
Yeah. And Warren and I were very good acquaintances and friends. and I knew that he was thinking about retiring, and I've always had a passion in trying to help other veterans. And when Warren started talking about retiring, I threw my hat in the ring that I wanted to get into that position. And I took the steps that needed to be taken to try to position myself for that job. And when it came about that Warren was retiring, I had the support of many of the veterans organizations here in the North Country, and was the one that was selected out of 17 different applicants.
How long have you done it?
Been in there 8 years now.
Is that possible?
Yeah, I know it doesn't seem like it.
Does it surprise you that veterans come in and don't know what's available to them?
No, it doesn't. Our military services do not do a very good job of explaining the types of benefits that are available. Many of them don't know because the laws are changing all the time. And when Congress makes a new law, of course, it changes the benefits that are available to a veteran. And so it's a constant update, a constant change. We're always in a flux of change.
Isn't it wonderful that we had such a large group of vendors here today?
Yes.
With the things they can offer veterans.
Yes, it is. It's nice that we can bring the community of different events and different organizations together that can help the veterans and their families. Because we're looking at not only the veterans and their families, but we're looking at those people that are still in the Guard and Reserve and their families.
Absolutely.
The people that have retired from the military. You know, the whole gamut of everybody that served in the military anytime in their life, they can find information here to help them. So,
you know, I want to let people know where you are and how accessible you are every day down at the Veteran Services Office in Clinton County.
We are located in the Clinton County Government Center, 137 Margaret Street. We're on the first floor of the building, right across the hallway from the Department of Motor Vehicle. And our office is open from 8 to 4 or 8 to 5, Monday through Friday. So we've always got staff there in the office.
So come on in, say hello, come
That's
on
what
down.
we're here for. You know, we're here to help the veterans, and if we don't know the answer, we'll find it and get back to them.
That's the best part of it. Steve, thanks a lot for your service and for all you do every day.
Thank you.
Steve Bowman got up there and said, all you World War II veterans, come on up and sit in the chair. I don't know, Rainey was down getting a hamburger or something, weren't you?
No, I just got late. A late start today.
Oh, you
Yeah,
did?
yeah,
Rainey Rabideau, how are you?
Very fair now.
Well, I'm very fair now and delighted to see you and to stand right here next to you and thank you for all of your service.
Thank you.
When Steve passed the microphone around, I couldn't hear everything everybody was saying, but where were you brought up?
I was brought up in Moores Forks, New York.
Not a bad place to be brought up, right?
Right, yeah. Went to school in Moores and then worked at a farm for a while and then went into the service. In 1945, 46, 47, I was in the Army Air Corps or our Air Force. I was a sergeant in the supply because I didn't fly too much, only from here to there. That's all it was. I was in a unit that dropped the bomb in Japan.
Oh boy!
Yeah, and it was quite a secret outfit out at the time, though. Okay.
We look back on it and say, "Wow!" Even as a young child, those newsreels were overwhelming for me, and they still are when you look back and think about it.
Yeah.
What could have happened had it not?
They saved a lot of American lives, possibly if they invaded Japan. They figured between 50 and 150,000 troops would have saved, would have been probably killed or whatever, you know, because they're desperate.
Oh yeah. So you were in till 47?
Yeah.
Then what?
I went to work at a Pratt & Whitney in Hartford, Connecticut.
Did you really?
Yeah. Then I come back and worked the Sheridan Iron Works, and then after a while I went into the government work. I was a supervisor of the border station from Champlain to Cannon's Corner, actually.
Wow.
So Nah, I spent 34 years doing that.
I wonder what his next career is going to be.
No, I was in the fire department in Morris
Oh,
for
I know you were.
58 years.
58 years.
28 years in the ambulance. That's enough.
It's time to put your feet up on something and take a little nap, Randy. You're making me tired.
I retired everything about a year ago, so I'm a year and a half ago, I guess.
Take life easy for the next 30, 40 years, right?
Okay, yep.
Randy, thanks so much for your service.
Okay.
You're the man.
Yeah, thank you.
See you later. Well, we got to talk about Post 20.
Yes. How you doing,
Maggie,
George?
how are you, buddy?
Good, great. How you been?
We could compare our bellies here. Pretty
That's
good,
right.
huh?
That's right. We're working on it.
A little belly button bumping here. Goosey Sorrell over there. How are you, Gooser? He says he lost part of his fence in the lake this morning.
that's what he said.
We're doing this on the 23rd of April, and we've had some high water, baby.
Yes, we have. We certainly have. I understand around Cumberland Head you got a lot of docks that are washing up in the road and all over down there.
It's been a rough year. Every time I drive by Post 20, I want to salute. What a wonderful organization you guys got.
We try to do a great job for the community and for the public at large. We do great on Memorial Day services and Veterans Day. This year, Memorial Day, we got Lieutenant General coming up from Washington.
I heard you did.
Yes,
That's
we did.
Wonderful.
And he's a local boy.
Too bad I'm going to be camping up on the St. Lawrence River.
He's a local boy. We'll send a skidoo up for you there at the end of May.
We may need it.
You're right.
Need it.
You're right.
You know, I was trying to think when you stood up, how many different places Post 20 has been located since I came here back in the 50s and early 60s?
Post 20 started down on City Hall Place. I think we're in our fourth location.
Are you
right
really?
now. Yes. Of course, we had the major fire in 1989 down in
Cumberland
Avenue. Yeah.
I remember so well going there, and the kids in the band trying to play, and their fingers would be frozen standing
That's
up.
right, you're
Now,
right.
when did we be whipping off the lake up the river?
You have to give them kids credit, especially the kids from Plattsburgh High School. You know, they help us so much every year. Both Memorial Day and Veterans Day. They're a great group of kids.
I've known Linda ever since she first took over that job.
She is a sweetheart.
And I promised her, since I've had so many kids who were in bands under Linda over the years, and Mr. Rabideau and everybody, and I have old 8mm films and videotape, and I should get them all on DVDs
Yeah,
for
you
her.
should.
I bet
You
she'd
should.
love to see
she'd
them.
love to play them back for her kids. She certainly would.
And how many have I recorded right down there at Post 20
you've been,
every year?
You and Calvin have been great with our organization. We can't thank you enough, and we just hope you can keep coming back as long as you're able to.
Well,
we really do.
How many posts are there in Clinton County?
There is 10 right now.
Come on, that many?
There's 10, yeah. There's Post 20, you got El Sable Forks 504, Moores 538, Champlain 767, Chazy 769, Dannemora 852.
He probably knows his own
Point 912, Saranac 1618, West Plattsburgh 1619, and Line Mountain 1623.
That's good. I can't even remember my own telephone number half of the time. At least I know enough to get up and go to 7:30 Mass on Sunday morning.
That's right. We both do.
You'll be there tomorrow morning.
I'll be there tomorrow morning. That's right.
Because that'll be Easter Sunday morning.
That's right. Yeah. Easter Sunday morning. We missed last week, but we'll be there tomorrow morning.
Oh, you did?
I had a meeting in Lake Luzerne.
Oh, is that it?
Yeah.
Well, we got our palm frond.
I hope they still got some because we always get them. I hope they still got them.
It's great. You know, we talk about these local people, these local churches, local organizations, and I've said ever since I picked up a microphone for the first time in this area in 1961, this is a pretty incredible place to live and raise a family.
It is. There's always something going on every weekend. Somebody has something going on. You know, not just militarily wise, but there's always, the community always has something going on somewhere. Breakfasts, dinners, something for the kids. It's great. It's great.
What would your life be like if you'd never got involved with that post?
I would probably be $800,000 richer. With the travel, literally, with the travel the wife and I do, it's the truth. Like our national convention's in Minneapolis this year, and we're driving out. You know?
Come on, are you really?
Absolutely. And for something different, we're going to go through Canada this year. We've never been up that way, and
lots of
that
people
section
do.
of Canada.
It's a nice ride.
With the price of gas, we're planning on another $600-800 extra for gas.
When are you going?
We're going the 22nd of August, and we won't be back until about the 3rd, 4th of September. Because when we leave there, we got to go down to Ohio and see our son.
Like I said, we're recording this on the 23rd of April, and I saw on television last night that gas could be $6 a gallon way before August.
I wish you would stop swearing to me, Gordy.
It's amazing.
It is. It's crazy.
Well, save your pennies also.
And I blame the speculators on this stuff. You know, the government ain't going to do nothing on this. We've known that for years.
You know, I wanted to congratulate you on being involved with that wonderful post on the Quarry Road. It's a historic building, and what you've done with that building is just terrific. I enjoy going down there every time you have a function.
It's a great building. We came a long way with it. We've had ups and downs. Everybody does.
Yeah.
But we've come a long way with it. It's really great. Everybody has problems going on, and everybody has to work through them nowadays. And while we're on the air, I just want to say thank you to all the people that helped me on this Socks for Veterans program.
Oh yeah, tell me about that.
It went very, very well.
What is it anyway?
I'm closing out the end of next week. We're sending the socks to Afghanistan. I'm going to be sending out just under, I've already sent, but total will be right around 2,900 pair of socks.
You got to be kidding me.
Right? And we got an anonymous donation from an individual in Coleman Head of $500. A lot of organizations just give me $125, $200. Sam's Club, Walmart, they've all helped me out. The Blue Star moms and dads over there, the Sons of Legion, everybody's helped out. It's a great program. The gunnery sergeant that I'm shipping them to in Afghanistan actually called me a month ago yesterday, and I was shocked at 20 after 9 in the morning to get a phone call from Afghanistan.
Is that a thrill?
That's right.
Huh?
Yeah, and we spoke about 20 minutes.
Say calling collect.
No, I don't. If that had been the case, I'd have accepted it. I would.
Just kidding.
But he couldn't thank us enough for it. And before we got done, I said, I got a question for you. He said, what's that? I said, the government can't give you socks. He said, that's not the problem. He said, we can get socks, but when we go out in the field for 3 to 5 weeks at a time, we're going through mud 6 to 8 inches deep. And he says, we pack 3 to 5 pairs of socks. He said, the extra room in our pack we use for ammunition. And I fully understand that. But he said, the socks, you come back with a brand new pair of socks, you wash them, and they fall apart with the type of mud and everything else they got over there. So, but the government is having a hard time getting material because the cotton is all being bought by China. And they're sucking it up. But they're getting them, but they appreciate what we're doing for them, too.
Is there anybody else doing this?
There's a few people in Albany that are doing it that I know of. That's all I can relate to that I know for a fact.
I read about that and I said, you got to be kidding.
Yeah.
Because in every war I've lived through, people were knitting scarves and all
We've
kinds of things.
had people knit helmet liners, and they have to be real wool, natural wool. They can't be the synthetic because if they get hit in the head with fire, it'll burn. So it has to be the natural wood, or wool rather.
Yeah.
But
what a great idea.
Yeah, we're doing very well, and I just can't thank the public enough.
Well, that's wonderful. Art, you're the best, you know.
Okay, thank you, Gordy.
Thank you,
Calvin,
my dear
thank
friend.
You guys.
Boy, I couldn't believe that snow this morning.
Oh, Willard Martin, snow this morning. You didn't order that. I know you didn't.
No.
Great big flakes of snow.
Yeah.
Then I turned the TV on, and I see out in the Midwest they're having hail the size of softballs.
Oh, yeah.
What that would do to your...
Keep it right out there, though.
Oh, my goodness.
I'm waiting for nice weather to show up. Yesterday was a beautiful day, but...
Yeah. We always used to hope by Easter Sunday that we'd have a nice day.
You're right, that's tomorrow. So.
And that's tomorrow, because we're doing this on the 23rd. Easter's late this year.
Yeah.
So how you been, Will?
Well, not too bad. I'm having trouble walking around, but...
Hey, as long as you can sit straight in the chair, that's all I care about. Yeah. So let's talk a little bit about your military history. We've done this before, but I know people watching this program don't know where you went and how you got involved in the service in the first place.
Well, it's a long story. When I was 17, and I was a senior in school, And the recruiter came out from Plattsburgh, the Army recruiter. He talked to us about what are you going to do when you graduate.
Is that the old Shazy School?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
So I decided I wanted to sign up. I was 17. My father wouldn't sign the papers for me. You had to.
Oh yeah, yeah.
So I had a what do you call it? A strike. I didn't talk to my dad for about 2 months. And he says, "You want me to sign those papers? I'll sign them. Get them." So I went and got them. He signed them. I wound up in 9th Infantry Division, and from the day I got down there, why didn't I listen to my father? You know, what am I doing here?
As we get older, we say, why didn't we listen
Right.
to our father?
So anyway, we come back from a hike about 5 o'clock one morning. These 3 big buses go by loaded with troops. Who in the world is that? Well, that's the Air Corps. They don't march anywhere. They ride in the buses. Boy, that's for me.
Where do I sign up?
Yeah, right. So when I got through the Army, I went into the Air Force, and I spent 22 years in it.
Did you? 22 years?
2 tours in Vietnam, Alaska, Guam, everything in the Pacific. I never could get to Europe. But
what was the best duty?
Probably Guam. It's not very big, but the people were extremely friendly, and they'd gone through a lot. The Japanese had captured the island in 1942, early part of 42, and they killed a lot of the natives. We retook the island in 44, and I spent, well, it was supposed to be a year and a half. I stayed 4 years.
Did you really? How did that happen?
I kept staying. I'll stay another. But we got a chance to go. Yeah, I got a chance to go to Hong Kong. Got several chances to go to Japan. You know, fly up. So it was like a focal point too. It was good duty though. Made a lot of good friends with the natives, the Chamorros they called them.
Did you ever go back after?
No, but I hear from them.
Oh, do you really?
Yeah. The old gentleman, when I first got over there, I rented a house from him, and it was off base and out in the jungle. The island was only, 20 miles long and 4 miles
not
wide.
very
It wasn't
big,
very
yeah.
big, no. But anyway, I got to meet his daughter and his family, and her husband was a Guamanian cop. So a lot of interesting things. They had the Army over there, the Army engineers, and these Guamanian cops drove a black and white car similar to California Highway Patrol, and some of them really took their job seriously, you know. So these engineers were coming down with a 6x6 along the lake shore, and this one cop coming from the other direction, he swung around and got right tight behind him. The sergeant was riding in the truck, told the driver, he slammed the brakes on.
Oh, come on.
He slammed the brakes on, yeah, and he says, you heard a squeal, and he said, we looked off to the right, here's this police car out in the ocean. The cop gets out, furious, right? Told him, he says, hey, he said, you were traveling too close, and he said, we had to come to a stop, so. Well, anyway, they transferred the engineers to Saipan about
they did.
4 months later, yeah.
Hey, but you never got back there.
No, I'd like to have gone back, but.
I know so many guys who have had the opportunity of going back to some of the Pacific Islands and Pango and other places.
Yeah.
But nowadays, with email and letters and telephones, you can maintain that contact, and isn't it nice?
Oh yes, yeah. Well, the daughter and her husband retired from Guam Police, and they moved to Los Angeles. A lot of the Guamanians, if they get a chance, they come to the States because it's a territory, you know, and they have citizenship. So. But
well, you know, everybody knows about Guam and its place in history.
Yeah.
But I never knew until I saw you today that the people who live there are called Guamanians.
Yeah, Chamorro, yeah.
Isn't that amazing?
Yeah.
I always learn something when I talk to you, Will. So what have you been doing these days?
Oh, trying to stay out of trouble. I'm having problems with my, I pinched some nerves in my back when I fell.
Oh,
I'd had both knees replaced, and I didn't get therapy on the right one. And of course, I'd fall a lot, and I fell downstairs. And Dr. West up there in Champlain, they ran an MRI and X-rays and everything. He said I'd pinched some nerves in my spine, and I've been treating me now for 3 years. But still, I don't. Like I was telling him, I said the leg is numb from the knee down, and not much they can do about it. I guess I've had 9 spinal shots from that pain management.
Oh God! As long as you don't have to run too fast today. I hope nobody yells fire. That's all I got.
I got to tell you about that. You know, they sent me down there, that pain management. So they called my name, and this woman says, "Come on back here to this room." So I go back there, and there's 4 women in there. I said, "Where's the men? We don't have any men here." All right. So she says, "Unbuckle your pants and drop them. Unzip them and drop them." And you get up on the table for a shot. And I said, men wear trousers and women wear pants. So, see, and one thing led to another, but I felt that shot.
Oh, you did? You felt the shot?
Yeah, right.
That'll fix you,
yeah,
buddy.
All right. Keep your mouth shut.
Well, you know, you're a good guy, and you're a good veteran, and I thank you for your service for all those years, and it's always great to talk to you. I always learn something. Guamanians.
Yeah.
I got it.
Okay.
It's in my vocabulary.
I'll tell you what, you know, the Filipinos, I made several trips to Philippines, and when I was on Guam, I got a part-time job with Morale and Welfare. I managed the bowling alley on base.
Come on.
And we had the semi-automatic Brunswick setters, pins setters. They pick the pins up, set them in a rack, and then drop the rack.
Yeah.
So I had 15 Filipinos to set pins, and they give them 10 cents a line for every line they set. So I'm there working one night, and everything comes real quiet. You could have heard a pin drop, and I look out, and there's nothing going on. I hollered, I said, "What's going on?" "Well, you got a boy down the pit." Boy, he's in his 50s, right? So I go back, and the guy's in the pit, and I said, "What the world happened?" They were trying to get him up. Some young troop was bowling, and he got a split, and he got mad, and he reached over, picked up another ball, and threw it, and the guy was down in the pit picking up the pins. He caught him on the inside of the knee.
You gotta be kidding me.
So I said, take him over to the dispensary. We had a dispensary on the air base, and then had him transferred to Naval Hospital down in Naganya, Guam. So then I go to the colonel Monday, and I told him about it, and I said, "He's in the Navy hospital." "What's he doing in the Navy hospital?" I said, "He got hurt. He was hurt by a guy on active duty who was stupid." And I said, "The guy's lucky he didn't shatter his kneecap. If he'd hit him in the head, he'd have killed him."
Yeah, sure.
So I said, "I want him put on an hourly rate, 25 cents an hour. We don't pay hourly rates." He said, "We pay by the line. If they don't work, they don't get paid." I said, "I want him on a 25-cent an hour pay." And I finally got it. So
did you really?
On a 40-hour week, so he got $10 a week, because all their money went back to their families in the Philippines.
Of course it did, yeah.
So anyway, I went down to see him in the Navy hospital, and I told him, I said, the best I could do, I got you on an hourly rate, 25 cents an hour, 40 hours a week, $10. So you'll be getting some money every week. Couldn't thank me enough.
Isn't that amazing?
So
by today's standards?
Yeah, and I go to work a couple nights later, and the pin setters before League Star Bowling call me, "Come in the back here." And they had, in fact, I got it in my garage. They hand carved a desk set with my name and rank on it, really beautiful. And then they took some coconuts and they carved them with like a pigeon, sitting on top of the room.
Oh, isn't that amazing?
They couldn't do enough for you, They appreciated.
What year would that be, Will?
Had to be 59 or 60.
A little water over the dam since 59 or 60.
Yeah.
So you could tell me stories all day. I know you can.
I know, yeah.
It's so great to see you. Again,
here,
thanks
Gordon.
for all your service.
Thank you.
Keep smiling. I hope you feel better.
Thank you very much.
See you later, Will.
Got a good man there.
Post 1619 West Plattsburgh. John Rock.
How are you, Gordy?
You know
good to
how
see
I
you
am.
again.
Good to see you, my man. This spring, here we are on April 23rd. Every time I drive by there, I was waiting for the pond to melt. Finally, the ice went out.
It went out, but
a long time.
It finally went out, but it also went right around the end of the dam. So for a day or two with that high water, yes, it's
crazy.
Never seen water in that pond like that.
For the people who are watching this program who may be from this area and have never been to your post in West Plattsburgh, you should go there. It's so, I just can't tell you how thrilled I am every time I go by to see that pond, to see the dam all redone the way it used to be, to see the winter events that you guys have had there the last few years.
Well,
you got quite a post.
This winter event was such a huge success this year. We were able to donate $3,500 for the Veterans Heating Assistance Funds, and anything else that they need the money for. It was a huge success, and that's what that money goes for. There's so many of these, I don't have to tell you, Gordy, there's so many of these vets that need assistance and help, and our post really goes out of the way to help them and try to assist them in any way possible that we can.
It's a good post. I mean, my history with that post goes back a long time, even though I was never actually in the military, because there was a house there involving a family that was very close to my wife when she was growing up all those years ago, because her relatives lived in the Vaughn homestead right across the road up on the hill.
Yeah.
So she spent a lot of time over there. So we paid a lot of attention. Watch when as that post rebuilt, and now look at it now.
Yes, that old Fountain Brothers home that they donated for the American Legion stood there for many years, and like you said, we tore it down and built a new post now, and it's very, very nice.
Oh, I was just looking at this picture. Look over here, Calvin, right behind John. No, get out of the way, John. Look over here. Is that cool or what? Where was that, John?
That was on Crab Island, one of the events that we do on Crab Island every fall for the veterans that are lying over there. That was a picture of myself, and as you can see on the TV here too. Also, we've done several events over there for the recognition of the vets that are laying on that island that lost their lives during the War of 1812.
What else is you always got projects going on? What's going on? Anything recently?
Well, this year we're in the event of a new process. We're trying to get some grant money and some stuff together so that we can do more on the island, and increase the beauty of it and stuff to gear up for the 2014 200th anniversary of the island.
I think it's important for people to learn about what Crab Island's all about, what Valcour Island's all about, to learn a little bit more about the military history of this area. We talked with Steve Bowman and others earlier, and with Donnie Kasperzak and others. But this area has been involved with the military almost since the beginning of our nation.
This area is very unique in history, and the corridor of this area, Gordy, as you know, like the 1755, the French and Indian Wars were fought right off the shores of Cliff Haven, and then you can go down to Valcour, where Benedict Arnold fought the British in the Revolutionary War, and then you go up to Crab Island, where the War of 1812 was fought with Commodore McDonough against the British. And if you stand on Clinton Community College steps, you can overlook all three of these battle points, which is a very unique place, and I do not believe that there's any other place in the country where you can look at all three battle points at different periods of time in history, fighting for the birth of this nation.
Everybody who knows me for any length of time knows how moved I am every time I stand up there. Stand up on the second story on the portico outside the back of what's now Clinton Community College and look over that lake. Calvin and I have done numerous television shows up there, and wow.
It is. It's just breathtaking up there to overlook, and just to stand there and think of not only the beauty of the lake, but also what has taken place right under your feet, and in the North Country. It's just such a great thrill to be involved in part of the historical events that happened here many years ago.
John, you're the man,
Well, thank you very much.
I've said that to a lot of people today, but you really are. You and I have been friends for a lot of years, and I admire what you've done. In this job with Post 1619 and all your other work, you care about this North Country, and it really shows.
Yes, and also the one thing that, and when we started the project, like I've told you a number of times before, Gordy, it's just a shame to have those veterans forgotten about over on the island and just lay there. And we're going to continue to work until we get the island where we want it. We do a little bit, we chip away a little bit at a time, and we're getting it there.
And we'll be right there talking about it.
Yes, we will.
Thank you, John Rock.
Thank you very much, Gordy. We'll see you, Calvin. You too.
I just want to take time to add my 2 cents to what all these other very eloquent people have been saying all day long about how important it is to honor our veterans. I want to give a special thanks to the American Military Retirees Association and Steve with the Clinton County Veterans Services for putting this event on today. There were a lot of venues, a lot of people involved here today, and I apologize for not getting to all of them with our hometown cable cameras and Calvin Castine, but we talked to quite a few of our friends, old friends and new friends, and got an idea what this Appreciation Day is all about. If you want information, if you are a veteran, if you are not retired and are going to be retiring sometime, if you need some assistance by way of insurance plans, if you're looking for college scholarships for your kids, anything else that might apply to veterans, as all these people have said during the course of our program today, you deserve it. So don't sit there and not have answers. If you come and talk to one of these organizations, you will find out something. Start with your local Legion post. Start with your local VFW post. But ask those questions. Of course, a lot of the information will also be available on the internet in this great communications age. So thanks again for watching our program. Thanks for being here with us through the eyes of Hometown Cable. We appreciate your comments and suggestions. We're hoping and praying that the weather is better when we take the cameras to the car than it was when we came here today. And we hope you have a wonderful spring and summer, or whatever time of the year you're watching this program. Don't forget, if you can't afford it and you'd like to see this program continue, write a generous check and send it to Calvin Castine in care of Hometown Cable on the Ridge Road in Champlain. And who knows where we're going to be next time for our little corner.